Hi, I'm Stevie Hughes. I'm the director of Loot. Now, Loot is a blacker-than-a-hearse comedy written by Joe Orton. Now, Joe Orton in the 1960s was the terror of the English stage. His plays satirised and poked fun at the pomposity and arrogance of the established institutions of the Macmillan era. Joe Orton was born in Leicester, and in 1951 he won a scholarship to RADA. At RADA he met Kenneth Halliwell, 7 years his senior, who was to become his mentor, collaborator and lover. Orton was both gay and promiscuous. This combination brought him into a lot of contact with the police. Remember, homosexuality was illegal right up until 1967. His first play, The Entertaining Mr. Sloane, was an immediate hit. His second, Loot, won the Evening Standard Award for Best Play in 1966. Orton became the darling of the theatre world and a celebrity in his own right. All of this put a distance between him and his lover, who became more and more envious and desperate. Finally, in August 1967, with Loot still playing in the West End, Halliwell bludgeoned Orton to death and then took his own life. I think we'd better talk about Loot now. It's a lot funnier than Joe Orton's death, I can assure you. Although strangely enough, it does centre around the funeral. It's the funeral of Mrs. Mary McLeavy, and her son, Hal, and his best friend Dennis have just robbed a bank of £104,000 and are rather keen to hide it away from the investigating police. Hal has the ingenious idea of removing his mum's corpse from the coffin and replacing it with the money from the bank job. Now all they have to do is retrieve the money before it gets buried and dispose of the corpse. What could possibly go wrong? Well, one answer to that question is Truscott. Police Inspector Truscott is one of the greatest comic creations of 20th century theatre. Half thug, half lunatic, Truscott blunders his way through the case like a kid with a loaded gun. Eagle-eyed sleuth one moment, brutal interrogator the next. Truscott was actually based on a real-life policeman by the name of Challoner. Challoner was the hero of the police force until they discovered that he was beating confessions out of suspects. The other half of that answer to that question is Faye, Mrs. McLeavy's nurse. Faye is a serial widow. She's lost 7 husbands already under highly suspicious circumstances and is now intent on making Mrs. McLeavy's grieving widower husband number 8. Orton also poured scorn on the unquestioning trust in officialdom and petty authority that was common in lower middle class culture, and its willingness to wallow in sentimentality. In Loot, this is represented by McLeavy, the widower, a devout Catholic, and at one point he says, "As a good citizen, I refuse to believe the stories that bring officialdom into disrepute." McLeavy, the good citizen, eventually pays for his chronic acquiescence. Loot is a black comedy, blacker than a hearse. It's not often performed, so this is a golden opportunity to come along and witness a dramatist at the peak of his powers. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye.